Nah, we're not doing that, bro. We're not going to continue to spread misinformation on the subject at hand, bro. A lot of people are now wanting to look into Kojo. But let me remind you that we've been looking into Kojo before anybody else even tried to step into this little predicament that we put ourselves in, because we have been looking extensively about Kojo constantly, bro. Constantly. And the problem is that everybody is now wanting to give their piece. And we're going to get into it, bro. Because now it seems like people are wanting to talk about Kojo in this perspective, which I don't agree on. And everybody tapped in. I appreciate everybody in here. We're gonna give it a second, y'all. Shout out to Notches Indian, bro. Shout out to Kamisha. We in here. I know there's a tweet going around talking about Kojo and how Drake had talked about Kojo and Family Matters. We're gonna get into that, bro, because I don't agree with that necessarily. I really have to disagree with this tweet that's going viral. And if you're not on Twitter, then we're going to talk about it in a second, bro, because now they're claiming that Drake was aware of a Kojo LLC that me and you haven't really heard about up until this point. Now, we've talked about the LLC that's tied to Kojo necessarily, but it wasn't the one that they're claiming that Kojo is affiliated with now. And it looks like now the misinformation is now being targeted through LLCs. Now we're trying to put LLCs on people, bro. That is the most craziest thing that I've ever seen. And I'm about to explain it right now because it does look very odd. However, we're going to get into it, bro. We're going to get into it because there's a lot of misinformation that is being spread up until this point when we talk about Kojo. Now, Kojo is something that everybody wants to cover. Double XL, everybody, bro. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in. Get the likes up, y'all. Shout out to Alex in the building, Kamisha in the building, Amin, KP, Just Dante. What up? If YouTube had a double XL, Liz JV is on it. Facts. I appreciate you, bro. We about to get into it, man. Shout out Charlotte in the building. Shout out Notches Indian in the building again, bro. Because this shit is getting very technical, bro. They're getting really technical. Now you're not lying. They really think Drake is that technical. Now they claim that he predicted it. Yeah, right. I don't think that he predicted shit, bro. There was no way that he was going to be able to predict what is being said right now. There is no way. There is no way that Drake had mentioned Kojo through an LLC on Family Matters, bro. I believe. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. They're trying to snipe me, bro. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, they trying to snipe me, bro. Hold on. We good? Yeah, we good. Ooh, you see that? You see how they be? Hey, bro. They don't want me. They don't want me to break down what they're put out there on the internet, bro. Hell no. You expect me to believe that Drake was going to talk about? Let me just bring this up on the screen, bro, because this is and again, bro. I am not trying to engage with this guy at all, bro. Clearly, I am not. I promise you that I'm not. But let's just get to the fucking the point of it all, bro. This is going viral. I got him blocked, bro. I don't really mess with dude, bro. After everything that has been said and done, no personal though. Just can't be in that part of mess because of shit like this. 4.7 million views because bro decided to share this information and try to imply that Drake was the one that had mentioned Kojo in the very beginning, including an LLC. Now, this is the bogus part for me. This is not true at all, bro. This is not true at all. They're trying, well, and we know. Hey, bro, they always say, bro, dude's picking a side. But look, hold on. Let me just mark this real quick. This is misinformation 101, bro. This is misinformation 101. because this address, bro, I've already looked up this address. I'm already familiar with this location. I'm already familiar with the other LLCs that are familiar with this location. There is multiple addresses. There are multiple LLCs that are now being in question when it comes to Kojo. Now, if you remember from the last live, we talked about Kojo with the Hard Pink LLC. Now they're trying to say that there's a LLC by the name of Nowhere to Hide LLC. Like, you can't make this fucking shit up, bro. Now there's a LLC out there called Nowhere to Hide as they're looking for Kojo. Look at this shit. So look, everybody, look, bro. This is so fucking stupid, bro, beyond fucking levels, because there is real proof, and we're gonna get down to it, bro. There is proof that they're trying to spin a narrative that all of these LLCs are belonging to Kojo, bro. So the story goes that Drake had made Family Matters, and in the song he says, "There's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to hide, you know what I mean. They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen." And What's the Dirt picked this out of the litter so that way he could get people to think that Nowhere to Hide was in regards to Kojo, bro. Mind you, this is the same guy that thinks that Drake counted 37 N-words in this same breakdown that he apologized for and almost made him quit. Now he's deciding to go back and try to claim that when Drake said Nowhere to Hide 2 times, he was referring to Nowhere to Hide LLC. Now, this in particular, this would have been something that would have been a good thing to point out. However, this is more misinformation. And this is the reason why What's the Dirt gets a lot of fucking shit, because he doesn't do the due diligence and look into the information that he's spreading currently. There is no fucking way that this LLC is tied to Kojo. Now, there's a reason for this. Now, look at the address. And look, bro, and there's 2 addresses on the screen right now. And we went over one of these addresses already. 215 West 6th Street, blank, Los Angeles, California. I'm on fucking YouTube. Wow, I can't fucking say that shit. But anyways, let's keep it going. We're going to go to ripoff reports. Look at this shit. I'm going to tell you, bro, there is no way that this makes any sense, because this Kojo with the 6th Street location is also the Kojo in question on ripoff reports. This is the most stupidest shit ever, bro. Look, it's this one. Kojo Asamoah. Okay, right? Remember, we've gone over this. This is when they mass reported Kojo on the same exact day, on the same exact time, bro. Look. What does this address say? West 6th Street, bro. This says 215 West 6th Street. And I've said in multiple videos already, bro, they're trying to make Kojo look like a scammer. They're trying to make these addresses associated with the Kojo that's tied with Kendrick Lamar. However, the problem with that is that now What's the Dirt is claiming that this is the LLC that belongs to Kojo. That now that it's called Nowhere to Hide LLC, bro. Like, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? They're trying to pin this location, this LLC, on the Kojo that is associated with Kendrick Lamar. They're trying to make this man look like a scammer, look like a criminal before he even steps into court to explain whatever the fuck they want him to explain. How the fuck is this guy gonna be a scammer and also be someone that has an LLC called Nowhere to Hide as they're looking for him at the same time? Are you fucking stupid, bro? Are you smoking crack, bro? Like, are you like, this shit don't make any sense to me, dog. This shit don't make no motherfucking sense at all. How the fuck is this guy gonna have an LLC? Kojo, mind you, the guy that they're looking for all of a sudden has an LLC called Nowhere to Hide. And the LLC address that linked to him is the same address that linked to where they're accusing him of being a scammer. It's the same address, 6th Street. right here. It says it in fucking black and white, 6th Street. Now the crazy part here, and this is why this shit never looked real to me, bro. Look at these fucking scam reports. All of them are from May 10th, bro, right after the beef. Like, come on, bro. Are we fucking serious? Like, look at this shit. Look, May 10th, May 10th, May 10th. Hold on, I gotta get this in a better frame. Okay, okay. Look, May 10th, May 10th, May 10th. One is in New York, one is in Florida, and one is in California, bro. Do you really think that 3 people in different parts of the country are going to report somebody on the same website at the same time? This one was at 2:41 and this one was at 2:38. No fucking way 2 people are going to. Who has a ripoff reports account? Do you ever rip? I've never used this fucking website, bro. And this is the part that's so mind-boggling. They act like this is Instagram or some shit. They act like this is like a popular app or a popular website that people just go to. This isn't fucking. This is not the T app, bro. And the T app is barely getting. And fuck the T app, by the way. But this is a website that rarely anybody would use unless somebody is really getting scammed. But I would still, even with that, doubt that 3 people are going to post about this guy, and 2 of them are within a few minutes of each other, one being from Miami and the other one being from California. How the fuck is someone named Chase going to get along with someone named Hannah? And let's talk about the name of Chase, because there's a scammer by the name of Chase. Now we have somebody who's reporting Kojo as a scammer called Chase that owns a LLC called Nowhere to Hide. Like, what the fuck is this, bruh? You have someone that's reporting Kojo called Chase, and Kojo apparently now owns an LLC called Nowhere to Hide. Are we fucking serious? Do you see like Richard Fitzenwell energy that I'm getting right here, bro? and I hate this shit because like I don't have like I try not to associate with what's the dirt anymore, bruh. But when he posts shit like this and it go viral, it's the stupidest shit on the fucking planet. Because I've been looking into this information for a long time, longer than him. He just thinks that he could look up an LLC called Nowhere to Hide. And how does that even happen, right? How does What's the Dirt find a way to look up the Nowhere to Hide LLC? Now, he could have looked up the address on the documents just like we did. But if you did your due diligence, you would have fucking seen that those addresses aren't tied to Kojo at all. I mean, come on, bro. In the mass reporting of Kojo, there is a comment. Hold on. Let me get to the comments, bro, because this is another thing. Another thing that I've been trying to explain here. Now, this is under the scam report. These are a bunch of lies and defamation. This report is a hoax and was created for defamation purposes. There was no proof to any of these allegations. Personal data that was obtained illegally was shared on this report for no reason but to hurt and defame Kojo. This is the reason why I had to say that this shit is cap also. Because not only is this person named Kojo getting mass reported on the internet, but there's a person named Kojo in the comment section of these articles saying that this shit is defamation. Doesn't that sound familiar, bro? But that's my problem, bro. That's my problem. How did we even get here to the point where now we're assuming that Kojo has an LLC called Nowhere to Hide? And we're going to get to that, bro, because apparently Kojo doesn't even own that LLC. The name belongs to somebody else. However, they're continuing to try to make Kojo look like somebody who would actually own this information here. It's fucking crazy, bro. Hold on. A lot of propaganda going on right now, bro. A lot of propaganda going on right now. Kojo hiding in the forums. Nah, bro. I swear to God, bro. He had to tell him, hey, bro, that's not me. And it was the only report, the first report and the only report where he had said some shit like that. Oh, my God. Hold on. Look, check this out. Look, and this is someone who else commented. This is somebody unrelated. They said, nowhere in your verbose novel did you reveal how you were a victim of $350,000 loss. Perhaps you will get to the point in your next post. So this person who was trying to report Kojo was trying to explain how Kojo is a scammer, but never said how they were scammed. And one person that's not even related to the subject had left a comment saying, you never even told us how you were scammed. Now, you would think that if you were scammed, right, you would think that if you were ripped off, you would explain how your money got took, how you got ripped off, and you wouldn't beat around the bush. You would say, fuck this guy, I don't trust this guy, he ripped me off of my money. Point blank, period. Instead, you get a novel version of what you think or why they think that Kojo is a scammer. It never really explains why. It's just a whole bunch of malarkey. And then the other thing too, right? Let's just get back to it, right? These addresses, bro, are not legit. They're not legit. And now they're trying nowhere to hide LLC, bro. I was looking into all the LLCs associated with this address before this was even a name, bro. That's the crazy part. This wasn't even a name. I was looking into these addresses before this LLC even existed, bro. Like, that's the crazy part to me. Hold on. Because this gets challenged, right? And shout out to Jigsaw on Twitter, because he was the person that really brought this to my attention. He was the one that wanted to explain how this was all to be. Now, someone that said, obviously, whoever changed it on the site changed it to the bar any fan of Drake would do, that they've been spiraling ever since this man had lost. Now, Jigsaw, I don't know who he is, but he tagged me earlier. He said, I have done my research and finally found the Kojo they have been using to sabotage the Kojo that works for Kendrick Lamar. These people will go any mile to manipulate the public. Now, someone says, fill me in. I like to know more about these claims. So you mean the LLC was manipulated? Then why is Kojo on the run if all of this ain't true? Now, this is what he shows. He says Kojo has seven LLC on that website. The LLC Kojo filed as the registered agent shows that the legit business address, while the rest of the 6 businesses filed by Robert Bianchi. So they're saying that these LLCs used to belong to a man named Robert Bianchi. I don't know who Robert Bianchi is. Bianchi sounds like an Italian name. Don't even sound like a black man. But what do I know, right? I'm just assuming Kojo's black, right? But let's just keep going. Which is allegedly owned by Kojo, takes you to a backyard trash bin. So this is somebody looking up, and this is kind of what we did the first time. We looked up these addresses and they didn't take us anywhere. The 722 address that is listed on here is also the same address when we looked up the Hard Pink LLC business location. So, and remember, when we looked up that business location, it was nobody there, but this other company that sells clothes. We looked up this LLC. However, they're saying, in correction to all of this, the one, and this is the address that's important, because we looked up the 722. There's still a 3371, and that's the one that What's the Dirt is claiming has information on former addresses, 3371, right? So look at this. 3371 belongs to Robert Bianchi, and then it says participants is Kojo. But who the fuck is Robert Bianchi? Because Robert Bianchi is the registered agent. They're the ones that own it. And Kojo apparently is a participant, but how and why? Now this goes even further, right? Because he says, I have done my research and finally found the Kojo they have been using to sabotage Kendrick. Going back down here, it doesn't make sense why this person is using this name Kojo now. He says, while the rest of the 6 businesses are filed by Robert Bianchi, which is allegedly owned by Kojo, takes you to a backyard of a trash bin. So the address for one of the locations are taking you to a trash can. It leads to nowhere. It's nothing. Essentially, it's nothing but a dead lead. If you look up the address, like we did last time, because this is 722. Last time we looked this up, nothing. Crickets. The same thing. Just what used to be there. And this is 37. This is 3371. The other address, nothing is there. These LLCs tied to addresses that have no companies, no office buildings there. Doesn't that sound fucking weird to you? How is somebody that's an A&R with Kendrick Lamar gonna have an LLC that leads to fucking nowhere? Why the fuck would that even be a thing, bruh? They're posting what's the dirt and muting the comments. Of course they would, bro, because this is just all fucking bullshit. Those two addresses that are listed right there that what's the dirt had put on his fucking post, they don't take you to anything, bro. They don't take you to nothing. Nothing. Trash cans. Literally, it shows you fucking trash cans, which is the funniest part of the whole thing, right? Just trash, right? As soon as you look up these addresses, they can take that as an omen, take that as a sign or something. Now, he says, even though this is the case, the registered agent is Robert Bianchi. However, a participant tied to the addresses is Kojo, apparently. However, he's only marked as a participant. He isn't the registered agent of the address. You see what I'm saying? However, he's only the registered agent at Hard Pink Records, and that's the one that we looked into originally. Now, going into the second post right here, someone had said, hold on, let me go right here. It said, these addresses were actually changed. I wonder why. Now, this is another thing. Before it was 3371, it was 5850. It was never 3371 to begin with. So they had changed the address back in 2023. So this is before the beef. Okay? This is way before the beef even fucking happened. They changed it to 3371. So now, all of a sudden, bro, or at least this is what it's marked as, they say, I wonder why they changed it. And he says, yes, because the address belongs to the fraud Robert that has 80 LLCs and can change the address to anything he wants. So apparently, Robert Bianchi is the gentleman that owns all of these LLCs, at least besides the 722. They're claiming that Robert Bianchi has over 80 entities, 80 results, and looking up for Robert Bianchi. Isn't it fucking weird, bro, that this guy he's the only guy that could change the address, but he's also the only guy that could change the name of the LLC. So if anybody named this LLC Nowhere to Hide, it's going to be Robert Bianchi. It's not going to be anybody else. Shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out Nicky Lewis in the chat. Brandy Carter, everybody in the building, man. Dollars allowed. Dollar salad. and what happened when it comes out that every hit song that made botting any genre is a standard practice. Even the industry people on YouTube say that this is don't. I mean, the real point, you see, you got to tell Drake that. You see, the thing that he's trying to prove with all of this, Kojo, remember, the only reason why he wants Kojo is because he believes that he could prove the botting. Like, that's the reason why he's targeting Kojo in the first place, to target the botting allegations. He thinks that Kojo could break that shit down. Why? I don't know why. But what always is the thing that I'm trying to drive home with this is that they're trying to make Kojo look like a criminal before he even steps into court. If they're trying to put these LLCs on him and these addresses are connected to shady activity, then all of a sudden Kojo looks like a criminal. Remember, these addresses that they're trying to pin to him using LLCs are the same addresses that they're reporting over here on the ripoff reports. 6th Street is one of them. Glendale is another. And 722 is the third one. That's the one that's tied to Hard Pink LLC. But the sad truth is that we can't even confirm if the Kojo that is tied to Kendrick Lamar owns these companies unless he goes to the court and openly says that he does or that he does not. Then we will never know for sure. We are just going off of the information that Drake's private investigators had looked into. Let me remind you that Drake paid 75 grand for private investigators to look into these locations. The only reason why we're looking into this right now is because they got the name Kojo and they looked it up on these addresses. However, I think that there's somebody pulling the strings with the LLCs right now. I think someone is going in there and changing it to Nowhere to Hide LLC, trying to act fucking clever. Who the fuck would do that? Who would do that, bro? No way. Attorneys, CPA, and other professionals can act as registered agents for clients. Just saying. Wait, that address on the map under the consumer comment has the wrong zip code. 90731 9001. I'm not sure if it actually, that's a good point. 90014. but you have to understand, there is nothing at these addresses. There is not the guy had showed you on 722 and the other one, there is nothing there. Nothing but trash cans. It can't really give you a pinpoint on the zip code because there's nothing there to begin with. These addresses, and it's like he said in the other post, this Robert Bianchi guy, he could just change the address to whatever he wants because he owns the LLCs. He's entitled to 80 of them. So let's get to the next post, right? Because now that we know that Robert is the one that owns the LLC, now we could look into why he's doing this. So let's see. Now, this is another thing. This is a recent document showing the name of their business changing from Wilcox Media into Bianchi and Associate to Cali CPA Group. And the reason why this is important is because it's going to show you that this man, Robert Bianchi, has changed the name to his LLC before. It used to be known as Wilcox Media, and now it's changed to Bianchi Associates. So he's changed the LLC by himself before in the past. This is only showing that he has the power to do that. Now, linked to the website, CPA website, pictures below shows that the company's address, the number of businesses Kojo has that has Robert as the agent, and addresses the business was updated to. So this is him showing what we just saw. Him having that shit. Right here, he says that you could see the information being changed. You could see here that at one point it was 580.50 and now it went to 33.71. So not only did he change the address, he changed the name of the company also. So let's keep going. So after he changed this, it changed again. And guess what it changed to? This time it changed to Nowhere to Hide LLC, belonging to no other else than Robert Bianchi. Robert Bianchi changed it to Nowhere to Hide LLC. Nobody else. This wasn't Kojo's doing. This is Robert Bianchi. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Bianchi was being paid by someone from OVO to change the LLC and to pin Kojo to it, bruh. What the fuck? Because really think about this for a second. Really think about this for a second, bro. This shit is so fabricated beyond levels. Hold on, I gotta reshare this shit. Hold up. There is no way that people are falling for this shit, bro. Robert Bianchi is the person that owns this. Now, you could say, well, who the fuck is Robert Bianchi? I don't know, bro. I don't know, but he's the one that's changing it to nowhere to hide. But let's just say, if this guy or Kojo was associated with this LLC, let's say if they were, right? Let's just say if they were, hypothetically speaking, if Kojo and Robert were in on it and they both were working with this LLC, why would they name the LLC Nowhere to Hide when Kojo is the one hiding, bro? How the fuck does that make any sense at all? How are you call how if you're the one hiding, why would you change the LLC to Nowhere to Hide LLC? Like, really think about it though. That is the most stupidest shit on the fucking planet. But you'll have somebody who's so fucking out of touch with this case, they will just immediately look at this LLC, look at the address, and try to say that Drake fucking mastermind this fucking like nowhere to hide shit. Like if he knew about it this whole time, bro. So full of shit. And they're only showing you what they want to show you. This is not true at all. This is just a whole bunch of fucking malarkey. And the real person that changed this was Robert Bianchi. And that's the question that I asked myself. Who's Robert Bianchi? Does he have any ties to Kojo? Because if they did own this LLC, if they were in on this LLC, why would they name it Nowhere to Hide when people in Drake's camp are saying that Kojo is the one hiding? Why would Kojo do that to himself? Nowhere to Hide LLC while you're in hiding right now? Really, bro? That shit sounds stupid, bro. The dumbest thing that I ever seen, bro. And it's only going to get worse from here because as everybody continues to look for Kojo, we're going to see information like this keep being spewed, and it comes from What's the Dirt, bro. And What's the Dirt continues to claim to be like some fucking, I don't know what he claims to be, like neutral, but this shit ain't neutral, bro. And you're trying to skin it and I know the play. He's trying to act like he's breaking down bars. Maybe that's all he wants to do. Fuck it. Let's just say that's all he's doing. But if he is doing that, he's doing it horribly wrong. There is no way that you should be saying that Nowhere to Hide LLC belongs to Kojo when somebody named Robert Belanchi is the one changing the name. Let's see when he changed this name, actually. Let's see when he changed this name, actually. Let's see. There was another thing too. Look, hold on. All right, we've got that part. And this is where they screenshot this shit. This is when Pop Smoke comes into play. This is when Pop Smoke comes into play, bro. Because this is when What's the Dirt posts his shit. And this is when they're fucking getting tweets from the fucking grave, bro. They are digging tweets from the grave. They went back when Pop Smoke was alive, and I guess he got information from Kojo, bro. I guess this is the information that he got from Kojo. And this is again, bro. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, this is super ridiculous. It is absurd, bro. I swear to God, bro. Someone had got, I don't know what Pop Smoke issue. I do not know his issue with this guy, right? I do not know his issue. I don't even know if this post is real. This shit don't even look real. 5/14/2024. Wait, 5/14. Pop Smoke was dead at that point, was he not? What the fuck is this? Pop Smoke. That's not the real Pop Smoke, is it? That's not the real Pop Smoke, is it? 5/14/2024. This is not real. Bro posting from the grave. This is what the fuck is this, bro? 5/14/2024. Bro, he was not even alive yet. He died years ago after. Do you see what they're trying to do, bro? That now they're trying to make it seem like this LLC has been named like that for a whole year. Now they're trying to make it look like Nowhere to Hide LLC was the name of the LLC for years now. Like, you see what I'm trying to say, bro? The problem is that Pop Smoke wasn't even alive to tweet this shit. Hey, bro, he's trying to make anything stick at this point, bro. This is not real, bro. I didn't even peep the year. I was like, okay, so when was Pop Smoke alive? Shout out to Leo, Drake CEO. Shout out Leo, W Leo in the chat, W Yvette in the chat for the donation. W Leo, W Yvette, W Leo in the chat, y'all. Bro, Drake CEO. Drake CEO. What do you mean by that, Leo? Let me know. Bro, I swear to God. Hold on, look at this part. This part is what drives me crazy too. Fucking 5/14, ironically enough, after the beef. And it matches these dates. Look at this. We're going to go to the date. Look, Kojo, right? 6th Street, right? Look at this. Right? Look at this. Bro, this is fucking embarrassing. Look. This is when they start going with that narrative, right? Boom, boom, boom. 5/14/2024. Let's go to ripoff reports. Look at one of these reports. Look at the dates on these reports. Look at the dates on these reports, y'all. May 16th and May 10th. May 10th and May 16th, 2024, bro. All of this shit about Kojo is all during the same fucking week. This Pop Smoke fucking screenshot is from May 14th, 2024. Just like the same dates in the same week that Kojo got mass reported, bruh. What the fuck, bro? Do they think that I'm fucking stupid? Yes, Marvin and Pop Smoke died in 2020. So that can't be a tweet from him, bro. What the fuck, bro? No way. And then you got somebody like What's the Dirt running with this shit thinking that he fucking solved something fucking immaculate, bro. Like, stick to counting, you know what I'm saying? 37 times, bro. Let me do my shit, bro. Let me show you how it's done, bro. Fuck that. I worked too hard for that shit to happen, bro. Someone to discredit me by saying that Kojo owns this LLC. Man, I've been saying forever that Kojo been being framed, bro. Forever. When I meet Kojo, bro, I'm gonna tell him, hey, bro, I've been telling him that you ain't do it. This is ridiculous, bro. Bro, fuck that. I hate that shit because that tweet got 4 million fucking views, bro. And my point is that there's that's 4 million people that are being misinformed to think that, and the pinnacle of that fucking post is this Pop Smoke post right under it that is so fabricated and so full of shit that I can't believe that anybody is taking this fucking dissect of lyrics serious at all. But anyways, we are confirming that somebody had fucking shared a Pop Smoke fucking tweet that doesn't fucking exist because Pop Smoke died in 2020, and they're claiming that right after the beef, Pop Smoke had shared the LLC information from Kojo. However, this information was posted when fucking Pop Smoke was already dead. And they posted around the same week where they tried to call Kojo a scammer, because those reports on Twitter are on May 14th, and everything posted about Kojo was from May 9th to May 16th. 3 mass reports on May 10th. They go on Twitter, put the LLC on May 14th, and then they come back over here on May 16th and do some more smear campaign. Like, bro, what the fuck are we even looking at? Like, this is the craziest, most maniacal shit that I've ever seen in my life, bro. But somebody thinks that they really fucking pull. I gotta fucking bookmark that one because they really thought that they did some slick shit with that. Hell no, they didn't. They made them shit. They made their shit look fucking more lame. But anyways, when you search without the suite, it shows you the front of the building. When you search the suite with the number, it shows you a trash bin. So that's kind of one of another things that we looked into in the last live, looking up the address and shit. Now, this is when he starts getting into the Kojo from the Hard Pink LLC. This is something that we've covered initially when we looked into Kojo. Search results on Biz Profile website. When you search the business address, the claim belongs to Kojo. Additionally, when you do a search of Kojo's name, you will find one company that shows Kojo as the registered agent, and that one is going to be Hard Pink LLC. That's the one that's on 722. That's the address in Los Angeles, California, which is also one of the locations that the private investigators had looked into. Remember, all of these locations that we're talking about, all of these with these LLCs, we only discovered these conversations with them because of the private investigators trying to look into Kojo. But these private investigators were paid off by none other than Drake. So all this information that we're getting is from people that Drake had paid off to look into. The problem is that we can't even confirm if any of this belongs to Kojo officially until Kojo gets served the papers, and then we'll finally figure out what fucking address he belongs to officially. But as of right now, one of the main participants and registered agents is Kojo from Hard Pink Records LLC on 722 location over there in Los Angeles, California. However, like we said in that video last time, we can't even prove if this is the Kojo that is the same Kojo that's in A&R with Kendrick Lamar on GNX. The address on Kojo's LLC is different from the one where Robert Biani is listed as the agent. Additionally, if you search the name of the other LLCs with Robert as agent, you will find them on Google. If you search the one with Kojo, you will see an IG page. And this is the part that we're talking about. You look up one part of it, Robert Bianchi is going to come out. You look up the other part of it, Kojo's Instagram is going to come out. And that's the Instagram that we looked into. This is the Hard Pink Records LLC Instagram. That's the one that we had looked into previously. And this is the account that it took us to. It was Hard Pink. Here is the IG page. If you look at the very first picture, you will see Kojo comment. I went to the Kojo page and he is private with no post. This is the post that he's talking about. And this is the comment that he's talking about on the page. This is what I found last time, Kojo A. However, the problem is that we don't know if this is the Kojo that's in question at all. Let me see. And he ends it with, so this is the Kojo they've been spreading as the Kendrick Lamar's Kojo. Again, spreading the information like this is the Kendrick Lamar Kojo. However, we can't confirm if this is Kojo or not. And we can't confirm what addresses he might be pinned to. A lot of people on that side, bro, are trying to say that this information is facts. This shit is false, bro. Again, more propaganda. And I think the real one to take home is this paper right here, bro. This paper right here. Save this one. Is proof that this guy changed the LLC and his name was Robert Bianchi. It was not Kojo.